Alrighty, it's Chargers Truther. I'm here with Charlie. He's a Chargers fan. I've been interacting with him on Twitter and stuff. Very happy to have him here. Charlie, how you doing?
What's up, bro? Like, let me tell you this. I'm honored to be amongst the mainstream. You know, us mainstreamers got to stick together.
Yeah, there you go. Gotta keep the mainstreamers in check. You know what I'm talking about. Well, all right. Yeah, like I said, I'm very happy to have you on here. We're gonna have a good conversation. I don't know if you got anything to drink. It's like we just watched the Giants game. It's 8:30 on a Thursday. I'm gonna take a shot of this Chilean Pisco real quick just to get it, just get it warmed up. You got anything to drink, or are you just
Nah, man, I'm raw dogging it tonight.
raw dogging it? Alrighty. Well, cheers.
Cheers, bro.
Alrighty.
What is that like? What you said it was brandy?
This is called Chilean Pisco. I'm half Chilean, so
Oh, nice, bro.
this is what they drink over there. It's like 35% alcohol. It's pretty dang good. If you ever have an opportunity, you should try this. They sell it at Wine and More. But
Do you speak Spanish? I'm sorry, this is completely off topic. I'm half Colombian, so like.
oh no, I'm actually a quarter Colombian. My mom's mom was born there.
Okay, nice. My mom's Colombian, so that's why I look so white because my dad's.
Yeah, yeah. I speak Spanish, not fluently though, but pretty dang well. Yeah, we could do this in Spanish if you wanted, but it's all good.
That's good, bro. My mom speaks to me enough in Spanish, so we're good. We're good.
Alrighty. All right, well let's just get this show on the road. Real quick, we just watched the Cowboys beat the Giants. What was it, like 20-15 or something like that? And then we were watching Neighbors. I think this dude caught like 12 passes, 100 yards. And the obvious question as a Chargers fan is, we had the decision to either pick Joe Alt or Neighbors or whoever else was there. We went with Joe Alt. A lot of people wanted Neighbors. I wanted Neighbors. I was a little surprised. Do you think? What do you think? Would you rather have had Neighbors? Or are you happy with the Joe Alt? What do you think about that?
I'll say this. So full transparency, I was also a Neighbors guy. I was like, that's what I think we need. That's what I think what we need on this offense. But after watching, in particular, the Steelers game, especially when Joe Alt went out and Rashawn Slater, the quarterback just got destroyed, right? Justin Herbert got destroyed. Taylor Heineke got destroyed. It wasn't even close. So I think, you say you got to be physical, right? You build from the inside out.
Yeah.
And as awesome as I think he is, I think Joe Alt's just as awesome. So I think he was the right pick. So
Yeah.
for the brand of football I want to play, he was the right pick. So that's all I'll say. They're both awesome players.
Yeah.
You couldn't have gone wrong either way, but if say they don't draft Joe Alt, how much time is Herbert gonna have to get to the ball to Neighbors? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, you got to also think about like where the team was like before that draft, where we just been weak in the trenches like for the last as long as I can remember. And the way you change that is you invest in the offensive line. Couldn't go wrong with either. They both seem like they're very good players, have very bright futures. But I'm happy with Joe Alt too. I like that we're running the ball now, and everything is Herbert. Without Herbert, we're pretty much done. So yeah, you got anything else on that?
Yeah, I'll just say this: like, especially after watching the offense for 3 weeks, watching how the off season went for a few months, especially getting to know and like watch Jim Harbaugh. Like we watched him from his side while he was at Michigan. He was never going to take a wide receiver with his first pick. You know what I mean? So like that's also what it is. He was never even if they had a stacked offensive line, he was probably going to take a defensive lineman. That's just the type of football that he likes to play. The top 5 pick, I don't think Harbaugh would have taken a wide receiver. So
yeah, I feel that, and that brings a question in my mind. I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves with this question, but what kind of position would you go after, and what kind of position do you think Harbaugh is going to go after in the next draft? I know that's way down the road, but yeah, what do you think about that?
I think it depends on where they're at, but I think it'll be either a defensive lineman or a cornerback. specifically, hopefully they're not drafting that high, which I hope they're not. So like they're not going to have a chance to draft Mason Graham from Michigan, but I think they might have a chance to draft Kenneth Grant. So I think he'll be the pick or Colston Loveland. But so I think it'll either be a defensive lineman, a tight end, or a corner, and center. Hopefully they address in like the third round, something like that. But that's what I'll say right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. It could go either way. It's like so far down the road. I'd like to see him go D-line. I could also see him doing like a lot of things. Yeah, cornerback, tight end, running back, even I think receiver, whatever. Yeah. Well, that being said, I'll get to. I wanted to ask you. Your name is Charlie. You could tell us about yourself. What do you do, and then well, after I'm going to ask you how you became a Chargers fan. So, yeah.
Well, so I'm born and raised in Southern California. Well, not Southern, but I'm born and raised in San Diego. So I grew up in San Diego. I eventually left San Diego, but I could never quit being a Charger fan, even a Padre fan, right? So I'm sure you see it on Twitter, like the friction between San Diego and Los Angeles fans, because it's just like, let's get over it, guys. But so that's how I became a Chargers fan. And once they left, it wasn't like, who else am I going to root for, bro? You know what I mean? It's not like I'm not going to be like a Raider fan or anything like that.
Yeah.
So my dad's a Chargers fan, so it's just in my blood. I grew up with it, couldn't quit it when they left. So here I am.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. So once Philip retired, right? So they were in LA, what, like 4 years with Philip?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so once Philip retired, I was like, okay, I can finally quit them. But then I watched Justin Herbert. I was like, all right, I'm back.
Yeah.
So that's how that went down. And right now, I'm an airline pilot. So I'm on the East Coast. I fly for one of the big airlines, and that's what I do for a living. So right now I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Wow.
I'm kind of traveling. So I'm just all over the place flying and stuff. So it's a fun life, bro.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm that's a super interesting, fascinating, and awesome career. It's dope that you're a Chargers fan. I mean, I could take this conversation any which way. We could dive deep into all that. I would say.
How did you become a Chargers fan? I've watched your like streams before. Has anyone ever asked you that? How did you become a Chargers fan?
Yeah, I've talked with it. I think with some people who I have, but I became a Chargers fan. I'm from San Jose. I'm from the Bay Area. And I was like 10 years old when I started like getting into football, playing flag football in like elementary school. We used to play at lunchtime. And that's when LaDainian Tomlinson was like having his record-breaking season. I'm just like, football was new to me, and I'm not kind of good at football at the time. I was like, I like this. Like I have a knack for it, or whatever you want to call it. And then I'm watching him on the screen, and all my friends are 49ers, Raiders fans, and I kind of just wanted to be different. I'm like, oh, you know what? I like that. I like the lightning bolts. I like the colors. LaDainian's amazing. And then I just committed right there. And he even inspired me to play like football, like all the way through my senior year of high school. I was like a running back, and I've been addicted to the Chargers, like
they played your type of ball back then, bro. So
yeah, and they were pretty successful too doing it for a while. I mean, they didn't go all the way, but
Bro, I remember to this day where I was sitting when Marlon McCree fumbled that ball against the Patriots, and we don't gotta go into that, but anyway.
Yeah,
so
it's been tough, bro. A lot of ups and downs, but hey, one day I truly believe we'll make it as long as we live long enough,
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So all right, man. We'll move on from that. Regarding the Chargers right now in the present time, what do you think about this team? Like, what do you think about this team in general, pretty much?
I think the bones of the team are there. They got some tackles. They obviously got Justin Herbert. They need a center. I think we touch on that right now. But I think the ceiling is higher on this team than it's been because of Harbaugh, the smart coaching. They're not beating themselves, and they just play smarter football, right? They run the ball now. Hopefully against the Chiefs, it didn't happen against the Steelers. J.K. can start, can get going. But
Mm-hmm.
overall, I like the long-term ceiling of this team.
Yeah.
Honestly, this year I think they're going to be like a playoff team, either sixth or seventh seed. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'm being optimistic,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but this was never going to be a year where they, I think, went far. Hopefully they do.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, the foundation that's been laid, I'm quite impressed with it, especially the first 2 weeks, even though it was against the Raiders and the Panthers.
Yeah.
I've never seen them play football like that before. So I
Yeah.
especially with Justin Herbert. So I'm excited about the future. We'll see what happens. And yeah, man, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. Like just after watching so much like shitty, like desperate, like loser, like ball, just shooting ourselves in the foot, looking desperate as hell, like trying to keep up with any random team. Could have been the Browns, just trying. It's just like, dude, this team is not built right back then with the Tom Telesco. And I created this account, I've said it so many times, to get Telesco fired because I feel like he just had a terrible foundation, just did not build the team right. And I think, like you said, we're building the bones, the foundation, because we really needed to redo the foundation. It's not just about like getting the flashy stuff and like the cherry on top or whatever the team. You needed to rip the damn weeds out. And I was very impressed with the team throughout the first 2 weeks. And even into that Steelers game, I thought we were playing very well, not making mistakes, not looking like a strong team, pretty much like a balance. I think the team looks good. Although, I mean, the injuries now after the Steelers game, what do you think about that game?
I thought they were going to win that game.
Yeah, me too.
And then Herbert got hurt, obviously. So I thought the first half they played a really good half. They were playing the ball that they wanted to play. Defense was good. And then the third quarter, the second half,
Yeah.
I actually thought they went away from the run a little bit too much, right?
Yeah.
And I think Greg Roman just tried to kind of outthink himself, right?
Mhm.
And just kind of go away from what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the wheels fell off, right? Herbert gets hurt. I don't think it was the play that he got sacked, but it was either the play before that. If they could have just held up like another second, they had like three guys wide open. So yeah, so I thought they were going to win. Herbert gets knocked out. He has the ankle. The good news is, for whatever reason, it seems like his ankle is doing miraculously better than it was last week. So I think he's going to play, and I think he's going to play. So I don't see any reason why he shouldn't play. I know a lot of people are like, oh well, his two tackles are going to be out, but that never stopped Philip Rivers from going out there with like Trent Scott, right?
Yeah.
Sam Tevy,
Storm
so
Norton.
Yeah. So, I thought they were going to win. It was unfortunate the way it ended, and I think just at the end of the game, the defense ran out of gas. They were just kind of deflated from what happened. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You thought QJ is good too. Anyway, go.
Yeah, that's true. No, yeah, I agree with that. They were playing solid ball. Like, again, like I said, not shooting themselves in the foot, battling back and forth, like battle of field position, a grinded out game, matching the Steelers. They look like they have a really good – they also have a very solid foundation, it seems like. And then, yeah, when Herbert went out, obviously the offense was absolutely dead. It was like completely dead and just couldn't – there was no way we were going to – if we can't put points on the board, there's no way we were going to win that game. But, yeah, that leads me to the next point about Herbert's injury. Like, should he play as like the Chiefs game coming up? I would say – man, if he's good enough to go, if he's not good enough to go, then don't go. It just is what it is. It goes for every player. If you're not good to go, then fine, don't go. Like that is what it is. But if you're good to go, then go out there. I don't care. You can't be like, oh, I'm not gonna play because like my tackles are like backups and stuff like that. What kind of attitude is that? You gotta be a warrior. It's your profession. You gotta go out there and be there, and maybe throw the ball away quick, have some like dump offs, throw the get out quickly, like take a sack, fall down, whatever you got to do to protect yourself. But like if you could play, you got to play. What do you think about his injury in the Chiefs game coming up?
So I my stance is I'm just listening to what Justin Herbert says. Right. Yeah. Last week, Wednesday, he was limited. Thursday didn't practice. Friday didn't practice. Right. Mm-hmm. And then he told us it's on Friday. It was Friday that week. It's not feeling great. We'll see what happens. Okay. I was more nervous about last week than I am about him this week, just because of his words. Mm-hmm. So yesterday, limited practice, and he tells us in plain English, my ankle's feeling better this week than it was last week. Right. Mm-hmm. And then he was limited again today. So they're going to leave it up to him. So if he feels good enough to play, if he feels well enough to play, he's playing, man. So like, I'm not of the mindset, oh, well, they should. This isn't baseball, right? There's no load management. I heard someone say that. Oh, load management, right? So if he's good enough to play, if he wants to play, he's going to play. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. And we all know how tough Herbert is. He's played through freaking broken ribs, like his finger is messed up, ankle. Does seem a little injury prone because I think it's because he's like tall and it's like easier for his limbs to get like injured or rolled up on whatever. But yeah, I think he's a super tough guy. He doesn't want to miss games, and I could definitely see him playing this game, win or lose. Give it our best shot. And I think that the team. I know we're going to be missing Bosa probably and maybe both of our left tackles, but we should still be able to take it to the Chiefs and make it a game at least. And, we have a chance to win, I think, for sure. What do you think? How do you think the game's going to play out?
I think as long as we have Herbert, we have a shot, no matter what the line is, right? We had Phillip Rivers, 5 years, Anthony Lynn, 4 years, Anthony Lynn, even with Mike McCoy, right? The guy had no line and he was still winning games.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be ready to play. Harbaugh's going to have them ready to play. I think they're going to have a shot. I think the defense is going to be ready to play after they just kind of – I think they folded in the fourth quarter, but whatever. They're going to be ready to play. Mm-hmm. I think they got a shot. And I don't think the Chiefs – they're 3-0. They're the champs. Mm-hmm. Mahomes, I'll say this now, and he'll throw for 400 yards on Sunday, right? But he's been a little shaky, right? So I think if they run the ball, play ball control offense, Dobbins goes off, they got a shot, bro. They got a shot. So
yeah, I think you got to play smart, not desperate, just solid. And I think, again, under like this new Harbaugh stuff, the new foundation, that's what we got to lean on. And eventually, Mahomes hasn't looked like maybe that great, but again, like winners, just like in the fourth quarter, whatever the whole game, they just when they need to make the plays, they just somehow make the plays, and that's really what it takes.
Yeah. I ain't gonna make no ref excuse, but they last 3 weeks, fourth quarter, they just win the game. I want to ask you something. So I know, again off topic. I know the weapons, right? Oh my God, Herbert. He lost Allen. He lost Williams. I actually think he kind of upgraded this year. They're younger. Mm-hmm. They're faster. What do you think about that?
About the receiving core?
Yeah, like Ladd and QJ in particular, as opposed to Mike and Keenan, right? Everyone was like freaking out. Yeah, I think keeping back Bosa and Mack was the right decision, but
I mean, I feel like it's more of like a turning the chapter, like trying to turn a new page. And QJ has been like a new player pretty much. We were relying on him. He's stepping up big time. Already 3 touchdowns and looking good. McConkey is being productive, maybe not as good as Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, because we used to like throw deep balls and throw for like 300 yards or whatever. But it's
never won, but whatever.
Yeah, but again, it's about winning the damn game, and just being smart. I think this team, the receiving offense or the receiving core is good enough. We're pretty good. It's not terrible. It's not like we're dropping balls. The Giants receiving core looked pretty terrible after Neighbors went out. So I think we're definitely better than them. We got Palmer coming back. We got Chark, hasn't even played yet. We're banged up there even after losing Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. I think we're good enough to win games for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I agree, especially if they're backed up by the running game. And
Yeah.
they just got to get through this game. If they win, right, we're feeling great, right? Even if they lose, I'm still feeling good because it doesn't seem like any of the injuries are season ending,
Yeah.
right? So you're 2-2 at the bye, and then you're playing Denver. So I think what is it, Denver and then Arizona. So those are 2 winnable games.
Yeah.
So 4-2 after the bye. I'm not counting wins, right? But like win or lose, you're still in a good spot. The bye's in a perfect spot. So I think they're still set up nicely.
Yeah. I mean, 2-2 is still so much better than 1-3. 1-3, you're in a big hole already. Not even that bad. And again, off the Chiefs, a loss to the Chiefs is expected. So, yeah, get into the bye, heal up, reload. We look good against the Raiders and the Panthers. And yeah, I think we can go on a run. It's just about being healthy. Injuries are part of the game, but yeah, I think I'm feeling good about this team. Just as long as Herbert is good, then I think we're good.
Well, I think they're set up nicely. So win or lose on Sunday, they're set up nicely for a nice little run in October, right? So they got off the top of my head, they got Denver in Denver, then they go to Arizona, and then they're home. I think they got the Browns and then the Saints, right? So those are 4 winnable games actually. So
Yeah.
I think the toughest schedule that they might have, or not the toughest game they'll have on their schedule, I think they play Tampa, the Saints, and then the Chiefs again, right? So even if you say those are 3 automatic losses, that's 5 losses, and the rest of your games are winnable games. What is that? 11 and can I do math? 12-5. I'm not saying they're going to go 12-5, but outside of those games, every game that they're going to play is winnable, and the type of football that they're going to play is winning football, and we'll see what happens, but I'm excited about the future. Win or lose, I'm not going to think the sky's falling after Sunday.
Yeah,
I hope they win.
it's a long season. It's I mean, a lot of it really does come down to luck. Injuries, there's freak plays going to happen, and if we could heal up, just take care of business again, play complete football, run the damn ball, play solid defense, rely on our backups, have backups that could step up, play as a team, believe in ourselves, confidence, and anything could happen. I really think if we could just heal up, and just come together as a team, I think it's all open. It could go either way, to be honest.
Yeah,
well,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I know I'm kind of giving a non-answer with that, saying anything could happen, but if you were to kind of predict the future, how do you see it going? I know you said it's 6th or 7th seed. I don't know. How do you think it going? Good or bad?
I mean, I have faith in this coaching staff, right? I think they know what they're doing, right? They've proven they have a history of proving to us they know what they're doing. We couldn't trust Brandon Staley. He couldn't stop a nosebleed. Are we talking about this season or for the future? This season?
This season.
Okay. This season, their ceiling, I think, is a wild card. We'll see if they can. If I'm not going to say the division, I'm not going to be that much of a homer, even though I'm like a huge homer on Twitter, But I'm not going to be that much of a homer. I think their ceiling is a wild card, and then once they're in the dance, anything can happen. But just the type of football that they play, they have a chance to win any game. And like I said earlier, all their games are winnable, except you got the Chiefs, the Saints, and the Bucks. And then if you look at it, all the rest of them they should be favored. So
yeah, like I agree with that. I if I was to put a number on, I'd say we win 9 games, 9-8, and we could slip into the playoffs. I think we're a fringe team, and that's very impressive for a team that just went 5-12, had a complete reorganization. Everyone's new, like ripping this team out from the weeds or whatever you want to call it. So I think
I'm gonna go 10 wins.
You got 10? I could see 10. I could see 8. I could see 9. I could see 10.
I'm going 10.
that's the window, I think. So yeah, I think we're both. I think all Chargers fans are optimistic about what's going on right now. Even though what I'm thinking about though is the injury bug that seems to be hitting us right now. This seems like possible questioning of the team. Like, are we gonna crack and reveal the old Chargers of past, where we just turn into like freaking glass men, where just everyone's dropping off like weeds and we're just losing games that we should win? And like, are we gonna revolt? What is it called? Digress? Or are
Yeah.
we gonna stand?
Yeah.
Are we gonna regress to the old Chargers that we all have seen for the past years, or are we gonna stay strong under freaking Jim Harbaugh and really turn the page and become what we want to become?
That's why I thought they cut a break with the bye.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't think that at the time. I was like, "Oh my god, an early bye," but it's coming at the right time. So we'll see.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see, bro. I think Harbaugh's gonna have them ready to play, and that's all I can say at the end of the day is they'll be ready, bro.
Yeah, I agree with that. Got to trust in Harbaugh. So I guess that's what we're thinking about for this season and the future. We got hope. We're gonna see what happens with the game. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy where we stand. A lot of people are like, well, another question that I've been hearing around, I think on Twitter, like, what do you think about this Justin Herbert? I think, what are we, 31st in pass offense? Are you like upset at that? Some dudes are upset at that. What do you think about that?
I think it's a byproduct of who we've played. They haven't needed to throw the ball the first two games, right? So they just controlled the game against the Raiders. They controlled the game against the Panthers. Mm-hmm. And we saw glimpses of the passing game coming to life against the Steelers. Mm-hmm. And I think at halftime he had like 130 yards. So he was going to go over at least 250.
Yeah.
Games 1 and 2, he had like 130 yards average.
Yeah.
Third game, if he would have stayed in it, I think he would have had over 250. And the staff told us during the offseason, we are going to do what we have to do to win each individual game, right? Yeah. Run. If we got to run it, we're going to run it. Yeah. That's what we saw the first two games. And then they were starting to pass it the third game, and then Herbert gets knocked out. So I don't think it's like a byproduct of the scheme or anything like that. I think it's just a byproduct of who they've played. So that's my take.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, again, you do what you got to do to win the game. If you don't need to throw it deep, then you don't need to throw it deep. Just hand the ball off, play save ball, run the clock, own the time of possession, grind it out, and just impose your will. But as we saw with the Steelers, they were stopping our run, and then Justin Herbert was starting to throw it more. So I think the pass offense is more like asleep, or like it's still like just not needed so much right now. I know we're 31st, and some people are going to freak out and think that, oh, we don't have it anymore. We don't have that passing offense. I just think, I mean, I know you'd said pretty much the same thing. It's a byproduct of the games we played. We just haven't really needed it. It's like your reserves in the military. It's just the reserves until you really need it. And Herbert was, he was doing pretty well in the past game when he needed to against the Steelers, against one of like the best defenses. So, who knows what he can do against some lesser defenses. So I'm not worried about the 31st ranked offense. Or pass offense. I'm worried about the wins. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, bro. You just win, right? Two things I'll say to that is I think if Herbert would have stayed in that game, Ladd was going to have a huge game. He probably would have went over 100 yards. The middle of the field was open, so I think he would have had a huge game. Second thing is, they made the playoffs 2 years ago, but realistically, what have we gained as a team from Herbert throwing the ball 35 plus times a game? Yeah. Right. We won 5 games last year. The year before we made the playoffs, then we couldn't run the ball against Jacksonville. We lose that game, right? And then the year before, right, we go 9-8, and so like that's what we'll say to that is, for all the people that are passing merchants, obviously we all love the long ball.
Yeah.
It's great when we see it, but the way that they've been playing football the past 10 years, right, where it's just pass happy from Turner to McCoy to Lynn to Staley, it hasn't worked, right? So that's all I'll say to that.
Yeah, I agree. I'll probably just reiterate on that and just say, like, I've just seen in the past where it's like this team is so soft in the defense, has no run game, has got to play catch up with other team, and just it's like, oh, Herbert, we're down, freaking score 2 scores. We need you to go score a touchdown. Herbert goes and scores a touchdown, or Phillip Rivers goes scores a touchdown.
Right.
Oh, great job, Herbert. Oh, but they just scored again, bro. You need to go do that again though, with
Right.
no running game. Oh, do it, and they're so amazing they can do it. But it's
Right.
like, bro, where's like, it looks good on the stat sheet and all that. Like, oh wow, he's throwing for 300 yards, but but we lost. So
or they take the lead and then the defense just gives it right back up, right? So yeah, I agree.
So I mean, last thing I'll say on that is I remember last season I went to the Lions game. You remember when they played the Lions game? I went down from San Jose. I was like, all right, I got to go to one game. Went to the Lions game. I freaking
was it like 48 to 45, something like crazy like that?
Yeah, it's like, dude, we could not stop the Lions at all, and like they just were scoring, score, like no, and they were running the ball 5 yards a carry, and then Herbert was just being amazing, just 4th down throws, 3rd down throws, and it's just, and I was just like, felt so like shitty. It's just like, bro, why does the team need Herbert this much? That's like absolute bullshit. And then
they could have stopped them on 4th and 1, and then they lost.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just like, after that game, I was like, dude, fuck this. I will not pay another penny to this team until they change. And it seems like they have changed. So maybe I'm gonna have to go see a game. Yeah, you got any plans to see the Chargers this season or not?
Yeah, probably next month is gonna be kind of busy for me. I'm playing quite a bit, but I'm probably gonna at least make a game November or December, and road or home. It doesn't matter. I can kind of go to either. I kind of have that luxury with this job. They kind of let me fly wherever. So
no, damn, that's dope.
Yeah, so I'm gonna catch a game for sure. I'll let you know which one.
That's cool. Yeah, let me know. That'll be sick. Maybe I'll have you back on and talk about it. What you saw, you see the players on the sidelines and stuff like that.
Come on, whenever.
Oh yeah, you can definitely come on, whatever. All right, man. Well, that's the team. I guess, I mean, we can go on a little bit longer. I guess we pretty much hit all the points. I think in general, if we were to summarize what we just talked about, the Chargers, we got injury bug, but we're very optimistic about the foundation. We think the foundation of the team is there. We're trending in the right direction. Maybe we're not quite there yet and not a real contender yet, but I think, we're trending in the right direction. Like the Herbert injury is very concerning. It's going to be tough against the Chiefs. If Herbert can play, I think we agree that, he should play if he's good enough to play. Not going to bench him just because we have our tackles injured. 2-2, going to the bye, heal up. That's not a bad place to be at all. God forbid we get more injuries, but I'm assuming that doesn't happen. So overall, what do you, if you were to give a number 1 out of 10 for this team right now, where we are right now, what would you put a number on?
For right now, I think I'll give them I'm not trying to be a super homer again. I'm gonna give them a 7 right now. Right? I'll give them a 7 right now after what I saw against the Steelers. And then we'll see how I feel about the Chiefs. And if they hang with it, if they beat them, that's where I'm at right now. I'm at a 7 right now. I think they're a solid C+ team right now.
Yeah. You kind of read my mind. Although I'll give them a 7.5 just because of how much they impressed me against the Raiders and the Panthers. The run game, I don't even remember barely the last time I saw that. I'll give them a 7.5 if they, I'm very optimistic, much more than I have been in the past. I trust them now. Look solid. I give them a 7.5.
I think they're gonna feed JK on Sunday. Well, I do want to ask you this: how do you feel about? Because I haven't been too impressed with him. Because I feel like he's been okay, but like, how do you feel about Gus Edwards? I don't know. I feel like he doesn't have that much juice.
Yeah, he's been underwhelming. I think we were all expecting a little bit more from him, but I think he has a role to play. He's like the big dude that smashes, and that, when you smash up the middle, you're doing damage on their defense still. You're wearing them down little by little. Like it's like you're not just letting the defense hit us and damage us. Like we're doing damage to the defense. We're hitting them, which is also very important. He's like the battering ram. To like soften it up. It's like tenderizing the meat maybe. And yeah,
Right.
he doesn't. Yeah, I think he should have done better a lot of times, but I think he has a role to play in this team. He's the big dude, the smasher. When we need a yard, maybe when we need like 2 yards, it's second down or whatever. Yeah. Oh, we got a good comment right here. This is a topic we haven't even brought up yet. Do you think Matlock is effective as a fullback? What do you think? That's a good question.
I think he's growing into the position. He's never played the position before. I think the first week he had a few missed blocks. It wasn't that great, but it's a position he's going into, and I don't think he's going to be a liability long term. It's just experience that he has to gain, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's actually been impressive. I was pretty skeptical actually. When I heard that he was going to play fullback, I thought he was just like maybe not good enough to play D-line. And I really haven't seen him do much on the D-line, but when I saw him block a couple of times. He hit the linebackers. He laid some blocks. He looked like he's not like whiffing blocks and looking lost. He looks like he could lay a hit on the defense. And that's really more or less the most important thing of a fullback. You just got to hit a defender, just hit him. That's it.
Yeah,
and,
he's been pretty solid on the. He hasn't been like a liability on defense. I think they just looked at him as like this just like freak athlete, which he is, and they're like, let's see what we got. And it hasn't been horrible. So I think he's just gonna get better.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, he's playing 2 positions, so you can't really go wrong with that, I guess. As long as you could be productive and useful as at least one position, I think that's good. I think it's good. I think Matlock has been a good fullback. Not great, but good enough. Reminds me of another topic that recently happened. I'm gonna write this comment and post it up. I think I should be doing this more often, writing these little comments. Derwin James, he got suspended for this game for his hits. What do you think about that?
I don't think his hit on Sunday was suspension worthy, but there have been hits in the past that have been clear violations, right? Where he's put himself on the radar, right? Remember that Colts game where he just like knocked the dude out, right? What was that, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So I just think because of being on the radar for so long, and he has had kind of salacious, nasty hits. It's football at the end of the day. It's kind of like, come on, guys, what are we doing? But by the letter of the law, him being on the radar for so long is, I think, what led to the suspension on Sunday. But I don't think the hit on Sunday was suspension worthy.
Yeah. I mean, I think. Well, I do think it was head to head. It clearly kind of was head to head. So I understand the 15-yard penalty. I wish he could just not like put the head off to the side, maybe hit him in the body, and he would pass. That would be a clean tackle. And right. I don't think that initially was like I think you just said was the reason for the suspension. I'm pretty dang sure that they look back at that Colts hit. And I feel like there's been other ones too. He's gotten, I feel like, a handful of personal fouls for tackling. And I think
I don't know how many there were last year, but there was at least I want to say at least 3 last year, and just terrible crucial spots that just killed us.
Yeah, it's 15 yards.
Yeah. So I just think it's his history that led to that. But there's been definitely worse hits that he's laid on people, as opposed to that one. So that's what I'll say about that. But
yeah.
I
think, but I have really liked his tackling. He made another really solid tackle on the receiver in the Steelers game. He's always at the top of the league. The top of the team in tackles, and he's the leader of our defense. Gonna definitely miss him, and I think we all hope that that he's gonna learn from this, come back, and not lead with the head to head hits, and just because the best ability is availability, and that goes for everyone.
Yeah, I just don't want him to. I guess my main concern is I just don't want him thinking out there, right?
That's
it
true.
happens, if it happens, it happens. But I don't want him to play slow because he's afraid of the penalty. Obviously, the penalties kill us, but I just hope he's aware of it and aware of it enough to where it doesn't slow him down as a player. So that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about helping the team win, and the tackles are great, but the penalties can be, because they come on like third down, need to stop, and then it's just it could change a game. So
yeah, if going to this Chiefs game, I know we've talked about it a few times, but I think if they have their way, they're going to try to run it at least 30 times.
Oh yeah,
because Pacheco's out, so we'll see how
true.
good their run game is. The Chiefs in particular.
Yeah.
So
you're saying that the Chiefs are going to try and run the ball 30 times?
No. I think
the Chargers.
The Chargers are going to try to run the game at least 30 times, 30 plus times, right?
Oh.
So I think we're at an advantage because Pacheco's out, and that dude's a battering ram, right?
Yeah, he's a beast.
So I think they might have some trouble running the ball. So if the ball's just strictly in Mahomes' hand, obviously he's the MVP, but I think that gives the advantage to the Chargers. And I think Minter is going to be aware of Xavier Worthy, not Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice. There we go. That guy's a beast too, right?
Yeah.
And I think they'll be okay. I think for whatever reason, no matter who the Chiefs play, especially the Chargers, it's always a tight game. So I think it's going to be a tight game, and it'll be a game in the fourth quarter, especially if Herbert plays.
Yeah, and I agree. And gotta. It's again, you win pretty much based off football fundamentals. It's not about how deep you could throw the ball and all this stuff, but it's about fundamentals. Can you hit hard? Can you win at the line of scrimmage? Can you run the ball? And then can you just use enough of the pass to win the game? Pretty much shouldn't be on Justin Herbert's back. It really shouldn't. It should be and I don't even think the Chiefs really put it all on Mahomes' back, and that's why they're successful, but he can do it all pretty much. So
they have like that Buccaneers Super Bowl, they lost.
Yeah.
But I think they've definitely shifted, right? Well, Mahomes is still a great player, and they call upon him when they need to. They'll play defense and they'll run the ball. And then last year in the Super Bowl, they were down, and then Mahomes brought them back because he had to, right? But that's not always the objective of the Chiefs now, which I think is the vision for the Chargers, and we saw that in the Raiders and the Panthers game. So
yeah, and again, it's just like they have a great coach, they have a great GM. I really like their GM. I think it's Brett Veach or something like that.
Yep.
And they have a great foundation. The center that they got is the best, pretty much. They got Chris Jones, the D tackle. They can win at the line of scrimmage. They got weapons. They've got all this stuff. And one thing is that they definitely hit hard. They have the culture and they have the confidence. And that's what I think is one of the most important things in sports and football and life in general. You got to have the confidence to it's like we should win this game. We truly in our heart expect to win this game, and I feel like in the past the Chargers have not had that. They are wondering how they're going to lose the game or something like that. But once we can do that, believe in ourselves, we can. That's, I think, the key to success. Can we truly believe and expect to win the game, and can we act on that? Because that confidence, I think, fuels you to make the plays and not get pushed around, not play with fear, not play with your mind, let your mind hold you back and stuff like that, Yeah,
this is just the type of win I think that, or this is just the type of game that I think they could win and they will win, just when Everyone thinks they're not going to win. Their backs are against the wall, especially if Herbert plays. Their tackles are out. So we'll see. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't bet on it, but I could see it happen. I mean, this is the NFL. Everyone's grown men, professionals. Anything can happen. Balls get tipped up, and everyone throws interceptions. Everyone makes mistakes. There's luck always involved. It could go either way, I'm sure. Just got to play solid fundamental football, and yeah, we could definitely win this game. Last thing I think we'll say in this Chiefs. We got another comment. I don't know if you want to go over this. Chargers versus refs and Chiefs. I don't want to be too much. I really hate talking about referees and saying, "Oh, that's why we lost the game," But it does seem kind of like the Chiefs, and I've even seen other successful teams, kind of like get a lot of calls go their way and stuff like that. You think? What do you think about that? I think sometimes maybe there is something to it where the referees just kind of are more inclined to help out one team, such as the Chiefs or whatever. I'm not going to say that's why they're great, that's why they win, but I don't know. It just kind of seems sometimes like it's a trend or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I still think the Chiefs are a great team. They're obviously quarterbacked by Mahomes. He's a great player. I'll say this. I think it goes both ways. For instance, I think the week against the Bengals, that should have been called the pass interference that led to them winning that game.
But
right?
but I will. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. But I have seen games where stuff like that gets no call, like they just let that pass, right?
Yeah, that's where I was going. That's where I was going,
my
right?
bad.
So like that, it was called correctly against the Bengals,
Yeah.
right? And then the next week, the Chiefs did it to the Falcons, right? At the end, I don't know if you watched that game. At the end of the game,
Yeah,
it
he
happened
held his
pretty
arm.
much on.
He held
It
his
happened
arm,
on
right?
two back-to-back plays, pretty much at the end of the game, and there was no call against the Chiefs both times, and then the Falcons lost the call. But I will say this: the Falcons probably they deserve to lose that game. Did you watch that game?
I didn't think I watched the whole game, but I definitely watched a little bit of it. I did see that holding on at least one of them. I think he held his arm while he's trying to catch the ball.
Yeah, so it should have been a first down, but then at the end of the game it was a 4th and 1.
Yeah.
And then they ran a sweep.
I remember that.
Yeah, and they tried to make the guy run 10 yards to get 1 yard, right? And then they lost, right? So they kind of deserved to lose it then, but there was clear contact the past two plays. So yeah, I'll say this much: it's inconsistent. I'm not going to say that it's like rigged or anything like that. It's just not. It's not consistently called both ways. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. I hate to be the type of person to like make excuses for the Chargers and just in my life in general. I kind of feel like that's loser activity, and you're really not going to get very far doing that kind of stuff, like blaming other people, blaming everything else. It's you got to win by being great on yourself. Doing the right things. But I guess it's happened enough. I think we can at least call it a thing. We can call this refs thing with the Chiefs a thing. At least worth having a little convo over it. But we don't need to. I'm not gonna put too much weight into that. You win because you're good. Pretty much.
Yeah, it's a thing and it's not a thing, but it is. Yeah, it's just a part of sports, bro. It's just a part of sports.
Yeah. Well, all right. That's pretty much all we got now. Maybe if you got a few more minutes, I'm just gonna ask you about how about your fandom with the Chargers and stuff like that. I asked you how you became a fan. You said you're born and raised in San Diego. What's your earliest? Maybe we'll try. I got maybe 6 or 7 questions. Maybe we'll try and go quick here. What's your earliest memory as a Chargers fan?
My earliest memory as a Chargers fan. Oh, I remember because I almost started liking the Rams when they were in St. Louis. I think it was 2000. I want to say it was 2001. It could have been 2002, but they lost the Chargers lost 56 to 28, something like that, when the Rams were really good. So that's definitely
what year was this?
It was either 01 or 02. It could have been 03 because I think Mark Bolger was the quarterback, but that was and it was before Drew Brees started, so it was still Doug Flutie. So My first recollection of being a Chargers fan was the transition from. So they had Ryan Leaf. So Ryan Leaf, Jim Harbaugh. I remember Jim Harbaugh quarterbacking for the Chargers, and then they went to. I think they went back to Leaf, and then Leaf was done, and then they went from Flutie to Breeze, and then my real fandom where I was consistently following the team is when they drafted LT in 01, number 5, and then they drafted Breeze in the second round. So those are my earliest memories, is the transition from Ryan Leaf and Jim Harbaugh to Drew Brees.
Yeah, that's you definitely got me there. I'm that goes way back. That's some good history there. I would say my earliest memory, again, like I said, I started becoming a fan when I was like in 5th grade. I remember one time I was in like this Italian restaurant for, I think it was like a youth soccer like party or something. And there was like a big screen and the Chargers playing the Chiefs. I think I remember watching LaDainian Tomlinson break off like a 80-yard run. It was his record-breaking season. I'm like, oh, it helped solidify me choosing the Chargers, which I've committed my entire, like I'll never change up on them. And I was like, oh, like this dude's awesome. This team is dope. And this is where I'm going with my fandom, you know? So, all right, next one. We're going to cut this off at an hour. We're at 51 minutes. So we got a few more minutes. What is your best moment of being a fan?
My best moment of being a fan, I think I know. 07 against the Colts. This was the game where Phillip went out mid game, and LaDainian got hurt too, right? So they lost Phillip and they lost LT.
Yep.
So Billy Volek comes in, and then Michael Turner comes in, and then they just run over the Colts the rest of the game, and then they win that game. That was a great moment. And then my second best moment was 2018 against the Chiefs, 28-14. The Chargers come back. There's like, what is it? There's like 5 minutes left in the game. They come back, tie the game. Well, no, actually, it's 28-27, and they go for 2, and then Mike Williams is wide open. So I think those are my top 2 favorite moments, where I was just like in pure jubilation, right? Like there's not a whole lot of them, but
that's true. Actually, I totally agree with your first one. That's also mine when they beat Peyton Manning in the divisional round. I think, we were the underdogs and in the Chiefs game, and that's what makes it so great. But I mean, we had been in the playoffs a couple of times or whatever, but no one was expecting us to beat Peyton Manning and move on to the AFC Championship. And still to this day, that's the furthest I've ever seen this team go. And this kind of brings me back to my next question, which is, let me bring this up. What is your worst moment of being a fan?
Worst moment is 21 and 22 back to back. Brandon Staley basically, because so Marty. Well, no, actually, I take that back. Marlon McCree, that was terrible. But I was like 13. Recently, it was Brandon Staley, 01, or not 01, but 21, the Raiders game, right, where he takes the timeout. We lose. Justin Herbert has this amazing game. Doesn't matter. And then the next year, the freaking Jaguars game was just right. And then last year was just kind of like I was kind of numb last year, so it really didn't matter. But basically, 21 and 22 were definitely hands down my worst moments as a fan. Yeah, that I mean, dude, there's been a lot, and those are definitely up there for me. But my worst moment of being a fan was the AFC Championship against the Patriots after we beat the Colts. I remember I was like, I was young. I was like 12 or something, or 13, and I was like totally invested. I was like, oh, we're like one game away from the Super Bowl. Like we can do this. And then I remember they just held the ball out, and they just held the lead and matriculated the ball and just ran out the clock slowly at the end of the game. I know Rivers had his ACL tear,
But I remember after we lost that game, I cried like, I mean, I was 12 or something, but I cried like all day in my room. I was like, I'll never forget that. I was like, fuck, this is terrible. We were so close, you know.
I think that we're gonna win that game if Rivers is healthy because it was a pretty low scoring game. But
and Tomlinson didn't play.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing. He was just on the sideline with his helmet on and his visor.
Just
He
depressing.
didn't want anyone to see his face. I think they were gonna win that game, but whatever. And then the 2010s, they were just mediocre. So like I was just kind of like this. Yeah, so I have no thoughts about the 2010s. So.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So much to go over, but all right. We got like 5 minutes. Next question: favorite player now and of all time?
It's got to be Phillip, just because he was a Warrior.
Yeah.
And Herbert kind of has the same qualities as Phillip, right? So those are my two guys for sure. And then let's see here, the 2010s, they had Rivers, they had Gates. Obviously, they drafted Keenan, but then a whole lot of like no ones. Casey Hayward was all right. I'll tell you what. On those Schottenheimer teams, I really like Donnie Edwards. He was a great middle linebacker.
I like Stephen Cooper too.
Yeah. So they and then when they had Merriman and Sean Phillips, that was great too. But Sean just blew out his knee, and then it was just never the same.
Yeah.
I had to stop doing steroids too, so he was never the same.
So you got Rivers, and what about current right now? Herbert.
Current probably it's got to be Herbert. I just love him watching him throw the ball. You know.
Yeah. So. For me, honestly, I'd probably agree. I would say either LT because he was like the one who inspired me to to even play football. But yeah, Rivers, just the leadership, the passion, I admire even past football just as a human being, you know, just so admirable. And even to go through all that shitty time with the Chargers and never really get anything, but never quit, just so inspirational. And I love Phillip Rivers so much. I got him right here. Where is it? Right here. Got Herbert right here. So I would say probably these two guys. Probably agree. Herbert and Rivers. So all right. Last two questions. Got to wrap it up here. What have you learned from being a Chargers fan?
So I'm in a loving relationship right now, but I've been with my girlfriend like 3 years now. But before her, I would sell all of my potential dates, right? Who I wanted to be in a relationship with, that I'm extremely loyal, right? And I can deal with a lot of pain and heartbreak. So like that's what the Chargers have taught me, like is how to be loyal and how to deal with negative emotions all the time.
I'd pretty much say the same thing. How to deal with pain, loss, try to not take it so seriously, even though it's really hard to do that because it still bums me out. Try and distance yourself from it, like from the game. It's like, you know, we have our own lives. Try and focus on that.
Yeah.
But when they win, you can't help but feel so happy. But probably just how to deal with pain and to be loyal and to stay the ship and not give up and change up, you know. So I pretty much agree with that. Let's see the last one. Let me type it up. Right here. This is the last question. And it kind of goes along with it. What is your message to Chargers fans?
I'll say this. I think obviously we've done with a lot of emotion and pain and losing. Just stay positive. I think it'll be all right. I think we finally I think ownership has finally decided to put really the resources into the team that they need to win, right? So I think, you know, just be patient. I think it'll pay off. We'll see. That's my message. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say you know, Life is about ups and downs, and especially in football, maybe not in other leagues like, I don't know, soccer leagues and baseball leagues, but there's like a salary cap. So I feel like every team has its ups and downs. And we've been through some downs. We've had some ups, but if you wait long enough, I think that we'll come back up, and maybe it's coming up now. So just hang in there and just don't switch up. If you want to switch up, go ahead, but just hang in there. I think we'll come back up sooner than later, and gotta stay positive and look forward to the future. So yeah. Alrighty, man. Well, I'm gonna take one more shot for the road.
Cheers, brother. I wish I had one. I don't.
That's all good. I usually drink something, not always alcohol, but at least something on these things. So
yeah, some water.
Cheers.
Yeah, you drink some water sometimes, and then you'll drink like a protein shake or something.
Whatever, dude. No, and last season was so terrible. I chugged a Steel Reserve. I chugged a Four Loko.
Dude, that's terrible.
If you go back, I chugged a Four Loko on camera. And the worst thing I ever drank was diluted NyQuil after the Chiefs game in Kansas City last season. If you want to go look back at it, it's at the end of the video. I drank diluted NyQuil, this whole thing full of it. I was like, I'm drinking NyQuil. I'm tired of the same shit. I chugged it at the end. It was so horrible. I had to turn the video off, and I went to go throw up right after. But I mean, shit, that was a shitty season last season. But
it was bad.
All right, well, cheers. Thank you for coming, Charlie. Very happy to have you. Glad to meet you. Not just on the letters on Twitter. So cheers.
Yeah, bro. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Excuse me.
I'm gonna start a show, and then you'll come on my show.
Yeah, start a show. I'd be happy to. I'm always down to talk. I'm friendly. I'm outgoing. Again on Twitter, it's kind of like a harsh personality. This is more like the real me.
Yeah, bro. I know people on Twitter be thinking you're like the Baba Yaga, right?
What is that?
Have you ever watched John Wick?
No, dude, I actually haven't.
Okay, so it's just the boogeyman of Chargers Twitter, right? So it's like, Chargers truther, right? So but yeah, bro.
Yeah. No. Well, I felt like I had to because there were so many mainstreamers that are just pushing they're like so positive, but the team sucked fucking terribly. I was like, dude, someone needs to come shake this shit up because it is not. Fuck this, bro. So
Chargers Twitter is I love Chargers Twitter, but it's an interesting place, bro. That's all I'll say about Chargers Twitter.
I just felt like there was a little market that I needed to fill, and it's I'm pretty fucked up, pretty negative, but it's a character. This is the real me. Again, very happy to have you. Let's talk anytime. Thank you, and good luck with everything. I'll see you in the future, and have a good night. All right.
All right, brother.
All right. Peace.